It's another man with a lot of responsibility and who will not be able to spend as much time at the Golf Club of Algonquin, where I'll be spending more time this summer, is our new Republican State Party Chairman, Cook County Commissioner Tim Schneider. And he's going to give us an update on the party and introduce our keynote speaker, Tim Schneider.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Are you excited to be a Republican this evening? I know I am. So, as Dan said at my golf club of Illinois in Algonquin, there were two guys discussing politics at the bar the other day, and I asked them, they were kind of getting a little feisty. I said, are you members of any organized political party? And the one guy stood up, he said, no, we're Illinois Republicans. And so I said, look at this crowd tonight. I said, that's my job, but I don't think it's going to be that tough a job because we are going to be organized and we are going to be united in November. And we're going to be united around the core principles of this election. We're going to be united around lower taxes, less wasteful spending, term limits, a booming economy, and a quality education for our kids. That's what we stand for in November. Now, that's quite in contrast with the broken promises and the failed policies of the Quinn Madigan administration. A little girl, maybe some of you heard this, a little girl went up to her father one day and she said, do all fairy tales, Daddy, start with once upon a time? And the father said, well, not all fairy tales start that way. Some start with, if elected, I promise. So. And that's what we've seen under Pat Quinn and Mike Madigan. We have the third worst unemployment rate in the United States. In this state, this is the capital of the Midwest, with Chicago, rail, transportation, the finest ag in the nation. We have the worst unemployment in the Midwest. We have the third worst economy for business in the country, in a great state like Illinois. And we are spending less and less on education every year. This is abysmal, and we can do better. Let's see. Well, let's stop right there for now. But here's the problem we've got. The Democrats are really bad at legislating, but they're remarkably good at winning elections. That's what they do. But this year it's going to be different in Illinois. I can see it. I can see it in the power and in the enthusiasm in this crowd. Now, we've got a candidate for governor this year that is quite a remarkable man. I was lucky enough to travel with Bruce 3 days a couple weeks ago, and I want to tell you about one day traveling with Bruce Rauner. We got up early and got down to Mount Vernon about 7:15 in the morning, and he did a speaking engagement at Mount Vernon. We went from there to Nashville, to Oakville, to DuQuoin, to Sparta, to Percy, to Chester, to Waterloo, and then to Bloomington. And he gave 11 speeches at 10 places. And in between that, he was making fundraising calls and giving interviews to newspapers along the way. We finished our day about 10 o'clock at night, and that's what this man does every day for you. So the day after I was elected state party chairman, I got a call from Reince Priebus. I thought, this is great. He wants to talk to Tim Schneider, the new state party chairman. No, he wanted to talk to me about the exciting races in the state of Illinois, the congressional races that we have. We have some really, really exciting congressional races, but he really wanted to talk to me about the governor's race in Illinois. When I went to a fly-in in Raleigh, North Carolina last week, all they wanted to talk to, all these state chairmen from all over the country, all they want to talk about is the excitement that we have here in Illinois. So come November, my job is to elect Bruce Rauner governor. Your job is to elect Bruce Rauner governor and Republicans all the way up and down the ticket so that we can show the Democrats what a Republican-led state Illinois can be if it wants to be. So you've heard enough speeches. So all I want to tell you now is we've got the candidate we need. We've got the message we need. All we need to do is go down there and fix that roof on the mansion. And I'm going to help Bruce do that. And at this point, I'd like to introduce the next governor of Illinois, Bruce Rauner.
All right, everybody, let's get up. It's our year. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here to make you a promise. I'm here to make you a promise. This is our year. This is our election. We are going to knock Pat Quinn out of office and turn our state around. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you in this room, because it's your patriotism, it's your commitment, it's your passion for constitutional principles, limited government, low taxes, individual liberty, personal responsibility. It's your principles, your faith and hard work is how we're going to rebuild our Republican Party. It's how we're going to win this election for governor and up and down the ticket. And it's how we're going to turn our state government around, just the way the other great leaders of the Midwest, Scott Walker, Mitch Daniels, Rick Snyder, and many others are doing. We're going to do the same thing here. We absolutely are. Now, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you in this room. To you veterans, God bless you. You are the ultimate public servants. Thank you for your sacrifice for our freedom and our democracy. All of you precinct committeemen, county board members, public police officers, mayors, servants to the public, God bless you, thank you. You are what make America great. You are what make democracy work. Thank you for your service. Tommy Cross, Paul Schimpf, we've got Mike Webster, thank you so much. Aaron Delmar, thanks for leading the party in Cook County. And Joe Felici, where's Joe? You put Joe, stand up and say thank you. Thanks for putting this dinner on. And here, I want to give my own shout out. You know what, Dan, it was a wonderful moment of silence, and Tommy, thanks for acknowledging. We lost a few days ago one of the greatest Americans in our nation's history. One of the greatest patriots, one of the greatest Americans who ever lived. It was an honor for me to know him. It was an honor for me to work with him. He was everything that makes America great. He was a veteran. He was a great father. He was a hardworking, creative entrepreneur. And he believed strongly in the Constitution of the United States, the Declaration of Independence, and the founding principles that make us the greatest nation in the history of the world. We all owe a debt of gratitude to Jack Roser. He would battle when other people wouldn't battle. He stuck to his ground. He stuck firm to the principles that make us a great nation, and we could take great lessons from Jack Roser, a life well lived. God bless you, Jack. May you rest in peace. I'm here to make you a commitment. We're going to win this race, but I'm also here to help all of us together rebuild our party. We have been redistricted almost out of existence. We've had elections stolen from us. We've been run into the ground. We've allowed corruption to seep into our party. We've had special interest groups that make their money from government seep into our party. And you know what? We're going to reject that. We're going to rebuild in the core principles that you hold dear and the reason that you're Republicans. And I'm going to go to work for you. I am a fighter. I don't lose. I do not lose. We are going to rebuild our party. We're going to rebuild our party around core principles, limited government, low taxes, individual liberty, personal responsibility. We are going to become a dominant party in Illinois again. Just the way the Republican parties have been rebuilt in Indiana and Wisconsin and in Michigan and many other states that are turning themselves around. Now, I can transform our state government because the governorship in Illinois is very powerful. The reason I decided to do it is I can drive results. But the results won't stick And some of the biggest changes won't happen if we don't have a dominant Republican Party that's competitive in races up and down the ticket, and if we don't have a General Assembly that's strongly represented by Republicans with sound principles. And I'm committed to you. I will commit to you. And right now, I'm going to work just as hard in my race and for fundraising for my candidacy as I am for every race and every candidate up and down the ticket. I'm doing fundraisers for every candidate. I'm speaking on behalf of every candidate. I'm recruiting folks to work staff in every candidate. And we're sharing our campaign offices with the candidates all over the state. We're going to leverage our resources to win this election and build our party back up. We are going to open more offices for the Republican Party than have ever been opened in this state in history. We're opening dozens and dozens of offices around the state, initially to help win this governor's race. But every one of them we're going to share with other candidates, and when we win in November, we're going to turn the whole infrastructure over to the Republican Party, and we're going to use it to build our party and become strong and dominant once again. And I'm going to work tirelessly to bring new donors to our party, new candidates to our party, and recruit volunteers as well as hire key staff members to build our party and make us strong. And I'm committed this election to have the Republican Party have the strongest ground game that's ever been run in this state by a Republican organization. We are going to get out the troops. Because we're going to be strong. Now, we're going to run great ads. We're going to run great ads, positive ads. You know what? And I've got, as people have pointed out, I've got a great voice for radio, but I have a face for radio too. So my wife is going to help me get out there. She's got a great face for television. She's going to be helping with the campaign. We're going to hit Quinn hard, really hard. He's a target-rich environment, and we're going to hit him hard every day, pointing out his failure. And believe me, he is the worst governor in America, and he's got the track record to prove it. But the reason we're going to win is we're going to run the best ground game ever in Illinois history. We've already got thousands and thousands of volunteers signed up. We've built up a great staff all over the state. We're getting great volunteers. We've got hundreds of college kids and high school kids manning the phones, putting out the yard signs, and getting on social media. And we are going to run the most aggressive social media campaign ever been run by a Republican Party organization anywhere in the state. And we're not going to let the rascals, you know what? I'm a big believer in every voter voting. That's a great thing. But you know what? We are going to make sure that the voters have integrity in Illinois and the voting process is done the right way. I'm all for bringing out voters. Let's bring all our voters out, but we're going to make sure it's done honestly and with integrity. And that's critically important. And here's a critical issue, and this is where I need you. This is a big team effort. There's 500,000 Republicans who don't vote in non-presidential elections. Big problem. We've got to talk to our friends, talk to our neighbors, talk to our fellow church members. If our folks stay home, we're in trouble. And we got to tell our friends, remember, yes, the presidency is important. Yes, Congress is important. But you know what? Our lives, the quality of our schools, our tax burden, our job opportunities are determined just as much by Springfield and the governorship and the General Assembly as they are about what happens in Washington. And we have got to get out and vote, and every vote matters. We've got to tell our folks, every vote matters. Bill Brady lost last time, and I can't tell you how upset I was. I helped him raise millions of dollars. I was very upset. I knew that if we lost that, Mike Madigan was going to have free reign to redistrict us out of existence. Knew that was coming. We lost by 3 votes per precinct. We cannot let that happen again. We have got to get our votes, get our folks out, get them to the polls. We're going to run a big program. And for those who can't get out, we're going to shuttle services. And you know what? We're going to get out to vote early. You know what? It's a voting early. Republicans are busy. Sometimes they're traveling on election day. Sometimes they can't get out. They're taking care of business or the family. Well, you know what? In Illinois, there's a couple weeks we got to get our folks. Republicans mostly vote on election day. Well, you know what? There's a whole window. Let's take advantage of it. Let's talk to our neighbors. Hey, let's go vote. Let's get programs going. We're going to run as big and aggressive a get out the vote effort that's ever been done. It's critically important. Critically important. You know, I'm new to all this stuff. I've never run for office. I just love the state of Illinois. This is home. This is a battle. To me, this is boy, you mess with my home, you're messing with the wrong guy. I get very, very upset. This is our home. This is our home, and our home is at risk. We've got folks taxing and spending us into oblivion. We've got folks deteriorating our schools, shredding our social services safety net, running our jobs out of the state. The politicians in Springfield are running our home into the ground. Pat Quinn is running our state the way he takes care of the governor's residence in Springfield. That's exactly how he runs our state, the same way, leaking roof, destroying Lincoln furniture, and flooding the basement. That's what he's doing. He's doing the same thing to our economy. Well, term limits will do that. You know, term limits are the one way we can get that done. You know what? We needed to collect 296,000 signatures to get term limits on the ballot May 4th. We collected 596,000 signatures. We collected double what we need. It's hugely popular, hugely popular. And you know what? They tried to throw our signatures off. They couldn't. We had too many good signatures. They said, oh, well, I guess you got to be on. And then Madigan had one of his lawyers sue to block the process. We've got that. Somebody told me the hearing's tomorrow. We're going to battle that, and we're going to win that lawsuit. Madigan's desperate not to have term limits. We're going to win this lawsuit. And let me make you another promise. I hope the redistricting guys and the Yes for Fair Maps, I hope that gets on the ballot. Right now, they don't have enough signatures.
They won their case today.
Oh, they did? Awesome. Great news. So what does that mean? Do they have enough signatures or?
No, they get to present their evidence.
Okay.
To prove that they
Well,
have enough
okay, good enough.
step in the right direction.
That's a step, good step. I'm here to tell you, I'm a little skeptical about what's happened there because it was a bipartisan effort. I'm worried that some of the Democrats in that effort didn't really want those signatures to get done. They wouldn't let us drive the process because they said, Bruce, you're a Republican. We don't want you. I knew if I managed the term limits process, we were going to get the signatures. And I offered to run that process for them. They said, oh, no, the Democrats said, no, Bruce is a Republican. We'll handle it. You see how they handled it. You know what? And let me promise you right now, if they don't get that on the ballot, and I hope the heck they do, and I'm going to try to help them get it on the ballot. If they don't, I promise you right now, 2 years from now, I'm going to run that process and we're going to get it on the ballot. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You know what? We had a big debate in my family whether they should run because this is a labor of love. I ain't going to take a salary. I ain't taking a pension. I'm doing this out of labor of love. And my kids, all 6 of our kids around the dinner table, my wife and me, should Daddy run for office? Oh, it's going to be nasty. My youngest daughter said, Daddy, don't run for governor. I don't want you to go to jail. Is that a sad comment or what? And I said, Katie, this was 2 years ago. She said it. She was 13 years old. And I said, Katie, it's worse than you think. Not only do we have 2 governors in prison, 4 out of our last 8 governors have gone to jail. We're batting 500. Over decades and decades, we're batting 500. Unbelievable. We got guys down there for the wrong reasons. That's why we got to have term limits, and that's why we got to have redistricting reform to stop these politicians from picking their voters and from stopping being in office for 30 years, 40 years, making millions of dollars from their side law firm or their business. It's corrupt. It's broken. We got to end that system. And this is the beginning of it. We're going to end that whole system. Now, I'm honored to go to work for you. I'm honored to go to work for you. And I am a workaholic. I love this. We're on the campaign trail 7 days a week. You know what? I got my values from my grandfather. My grandfather was a dairy farmer. Back when it wasn't machines. It wasn't machines. And that is hard work. 365 days a year, morning till night. You know what? He taught me about hunting and fishing and the pride of gun ownership and riding motorcycles. My grandfather was a union guy, made butter and cottage cheese in the Hawthorne Melody plant in Whitewater, Wisconsin, lived in a little double-wide trailer, spoke Swedish. But you know what? He taught me 3 things in life, the way I've tried to run my life. He said, Bruce, get a great education. It's the key to your future. Whatever you do, work your tail off and give it 100% your best every day, and give back in your community because everybody needs some help. And it ain't big government programs that you help other people. It's we help each other. Through our churches, through our community organizations, family to family, we help each other. And that's the reason I didn't come from any more money. I'm a middle-class kid. I worked my way through school, but I've done good. I made a ton of money, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. And my wife and I give back. It's the reason we build health clinics. We built the Red Cross in Chicago. We built the YMCA in Little Village. We fund vouchers for poor kids and scholarships. We do merit pay programs for great teachers. My wife runs a not-for-profit that runs early childhood education programs for kids in poverty, ages 0 to 5. We care. We love the communities in Illinois, and we're giving back every way I can. And that's the reason I decided to run for governor. I learned a lot in business about how to build teams, solve problems, and get things done. And that's what we're going to do in Springfield. You know, when Mitch Daniels turned Indiana around, he brought in 30 superstars from the private sector and said, you are going to be public servants, we'll run the government, not these career bureaucrats. We're going to get results. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to move the governor's residence. My wife and I are honored to live there. Got to fix the roof, and we'll do that. And we're going to turn the government around just the way the states around us have done. And I'll do the same thing in building out the team of the campaign. I've been very blessed. We've assembled a heck of a campaign team. And you know what? I studied Bill Brady, why Bill Brady lost last time. We'd study it. I won't go into all the details tonight. That most of it doesn't matter. But one thing I'll tell you, Bill didn't campaign enough around Cook County. He didn't. That's a fact. That's a fact. And you know what? Many Republicans, you know, as they travel, some of us here in Cook County can appreciate this. I've traveled the state. We put over 100,000 miles driving Illinois the last year. And I've spoken to thousands of events, thousands of voters. You know, I also can ask the folks around the state, what's the number one thing I can do to restore the quality of life for the families of Illinois? You know what the number one response is by far? Secede from Cook County. There isn't even a close second. That's a fact. And you know what? That's good for a chuckle, a great way to lose elections. We keep that mindset, we lose elections. There's a lot of Republicans in Cook County, and there's a lot of good Republicans in Cook County. And there's a lot of independent voters and a lot of persuadable Democrats in Cook County. And if we get there and we show we care and we get out there and communicate with them, we can get them over to our side. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And nobody's going to outwork Evelyn and me in this race. Nobody. You know what? I'm speaking at African-American churches on Sunday morning now, 2 or 3 every Sunday. Show up in there, and a lot of times they're like, wow, what are you doing here? You know what? And I get up there, and I've had standing ovations at some of these churches. And a lot of the ministers say, wow, like this message of this guy. And you know what? I'm a Democrat, but you know what? I'm voting Republican this time, and you in the congregation ought to do the same. Quinn is failing us on jobs and on schools, and we need more jobs, and we need better schools. And Bruce Rauner has built his career doing that stuff. So Reverend Meeks has endorsed us and working for our campaign. Reverend Hatch is helping our campaign. Dozens of African-American ministers around the state are helping our campaign. And sometimes somebody in the flock will stand up and say, Bruce, I love your message. I'd like to vote for you, but I've never voted for a Republican in my life. I always vote for a Democrat. I said, okay, so how's that working for you? And then they go, well, I don't know. And I say, listen, think about that for a second. If you take that mindset, that means that the Democrats can take you for granted. They don't have to do anything for you because they're going to get their vote anyway. And the Republicans are probably wasting their time to talk to you. Why is that smart for you? Why is that good for your family or your neighborhood or your community? Why not play both parties off against each other and demand results and accountability from politicians and get something good, get jobs growing, get great schools? Why don't you do, and you know what? They fight about it and then say, Bruce, okay, where's your yard signs? We're in. That's exactly. And today I met with a large group of Korean Americans in Chicago. most of them in the room were Democrats. Met with them, and you know what? Left the room with a lot of endorsements and a big Korean American get out the vote effort. Same thing this morning. On Devon Avenue, I met with a whole bunch of Indian Americans.
Team Johnny.
Team Johnny, Nimish Johnny. And as Nimish told me, he said 2/3 of the people in that room were Democrats. All of them signed up to be part of our ground game. All of them said that they're doing part of the endorsements. They're all going to be working with us. And they're a big community. But I'm speaking to Polish radio and Polish newspapers. Polish Americans around Chicago, 1 million. 1 million, and they're mostly Democrats. And you know what? I'm there. I marched in their parade, Constitution Day, down Columbus Drive. Quinn's people were not happy to see me there, and I was up high-fiving up and down the parade route, and shaking everybody's hand and getting a lot of support. Greek community around Chicago. There's 500,000 Greeks around Chicago. And most of them have traditionally voted Democrat. And you know what? I'm there with them. I'm going to their events. I'm going to the Orthodox churches. I'm speaking in the newspapers and on radio. And you know what? I went, and this shows what's going on. My friends, I'm getting a lot of endorsements in the Greek community, and they said, Bruce, come march in our parade. We'd be honored to have you come to the Greek Independence Day parade on Halsted Street. I said, sure. Quinn found out I was going. He's never showed up to a Greek parade in his career. He's never showed up. He came that day, and his people tried to push us out of the parade. They tried to say, oh, this is a Democrat parade. I said, the heck it is. And I pushed right to the front of it. And I marched up and down that parade, high five, selfies the whole way. Huge support. We are going right into Quinn's base. We're showing we care. Our party is the party of results. We get more jobs in a booming economy. We get better schools, and we're going to work for every family and every community in this state. And that message is resonating. You know what? One last story. I went through security at O'Hare a couple weeks ago. I went through the metal detector. I was flying to an event. 4 African-American TSA security guards, big guys, came. They rushed up to me. They looked like they played for the Bears. I was like, they said, hey. I thought, wow, I'm not carrying my gun. What's going on? Oh, what? They said, hey, you're running for governor. I said, yes, I am. You scared me. Don't do that. And they said, hey, you know what? All 4 of us are Democrats. We love your commercials. We love your wife. We're all voting for you. That's a fact. It's an honor to be with you. God bless you. I'm so pumped to work for you. I can't tell you. This is our year. We're going to build our party. We're going to win this election. We're going to turn it around. Let's go beat them. Let's go get them. Thank you very much.